You know, yesterday I showed you a video of a 92-year-old Holocaust survivor who survived Auschwitz. That was really the most brutal of all the concentration camps. And talking about how this stuff, the creeping side of authoritarianism, how it happens incrementally. First, you sort of talk about those people in that certain way. Those people are diseased, those people are dirty, those people are greedy, those people are evil. Then you say those people shouldn't be on those benches because there's other benches they can be on, and they shouldn't be at our schools because they can have their own schools, and they shouldn't go on these buses, and they shouldn't go into these theaters. Maybe they shouldn't shop at the same hours as us, and the series of things that happen slowly. Because now, it's very strange what's happened to all of us in the last 2 years. If you would have asked most people 2 years ago, like, how did the Nazis come to power? How could something so obviously evil come to power? Most people really wouldn't know. You wouldn't really understand. Yeah, you could read it in a textbook and you could go, oh, there was this guy Hitler and he was this really great speaker and Germany was really upset after World War I and they were economically depressed and they needed a scapegoat, and you can sort of intellectualize it at some level. But how does that get you to, oh, we're going to exterminate 6 million of our people. We're going to launch a war and millions of Russians are going to be killed and we're going to rampage across Europe and all of those things. And how do you turn citizen against citizen and make people that were neighbors, next thing you know, literally shooting their neighbors and having them dig their own ditches and all the extraordinary horrors that are almost too crazy to mention, right? How does it happen? Well, I think if you asked most people 2 years ago, they would have given you some intellectual version of it, where in the last 2 years, I think we can all kind of see it at this point. You can kind of see it. You can kind of see how for 2 years you would demonize. Those people shouldn't go on planes, happening in Canada right now. Those people shouldn't go on trains, happening in Canada right now. Those people should be put in quarantine camps, special camps for them, happening in Australia right now. Those people shouldn't be able to go into certain stores without showing their papers, happening in New York City right now, happening in Los Angeles right now. So the slow creep of these things is, I think, showing us something very, very evil, but very important to know about human nature. Anyway, yesterday I saw a clip of Jordan Peterson on Joe Rogan's show. This is from about 4 years ago. So this is before, obviously before COVID and all that, before lockdowns, before masks and all that. It's also right at the beginning of when Jordan was sort of catching on. And one of the things that I find so interesting about it is when you see someone from years ago that was talking about things that are now so relevant. So with all that in mind, here's a quick clip of Jordan talking about the warning signs and how things can get much worse before you even know.
Things get to terrible places one tiny step at a time. You know, if I encroach on you and I'm sophisticated about it, I'm going to encroach 2 millimeters. I'm going to encroach right to the point where you start to protest. Then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to wait. Then you're going to calm down. Then I'm going to encroach again right to the point where you protest. Then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to wait. And I'm just going to do that forever. And before you know it, you're going to be back 3 miles from where you started, and you'll have done it one step at a time. And then you'll go, oh, how'd I get here? And the answer was, well, I pushed you a little farther than you should have gone, and you agreed. And so then I pushed you a little farther than you should have gone again, and you agreed. And if anybody's interested in this sort of process, and this is a horrifying book, if you want to read about how this process works, you can read a book called Ordinary Men by Robert Browning.
I actually ordered Ordinary Men last night, so I will read the book, and hopefully I can share some more of those ideas with you. But does that sound familiar? Does that kind of sound like what's happening right now? Do you think history repeats itself? Do you think human nature is what it is and Nazis just don't miraculously show up like that? Do you think you slowly dehumanize people? Do you think you slowly otherize people? And next thing you know, good people are doing horrible things. Good people are ratting on their neighbors. Good people are assaulting people because they're not wearing masks, et cetera, et cetera. Could it all actually be happening right now? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know.